Hi lovelies, and welcome in my magical kitchen. Spooky season is fast approaching and I thought it was time to treat us all to a special little snack from my favorite fictional witch and wizard universe. Today we will be making pumpkin pasties just as they are enjoyed by Harry Potter and his friends, fresh from the trolley of the Hogwarts Express. I decided to make a savory and a sweet version and also give you a vegan alternative. The sweet version is inspired by a recipe in the unofficial Harry Potter cookbook. A big thank you to one of my lovely patrons, Wendy, who so kindly gifted it to me. The savory version is my personal magical creation. As always, you'll find the ingredients and measurements in the description box below. But before we start this journey into Hogwarts kitchen, let me know in the comments below what Hogwarts house you belong to. So, now that we're all sorted, let's get baking and witching. We start by making the dough, mixing flour, salt and sugar. If you are going for the savory variation, I recommend you leave the sugar out and maybe add a pinch more salt to the dough. We want to combine these dry ingredients with our wand and then proceed to add some cold butter into it. It is easiest if you cut the butter in smaller pieces. We will also need lard or vegetable shortening, which should also be very cold. The reason for this is that we want to make a very flaky and fine dough, and if the fat in butter is too warm it melts and liquefies, mixing too well with the flour and leaving you with a hard to work dough that will turn out very dry once baked. If you want to make this vegan, substitute the butter with vegan butter or margarine. Now we combine it all, and that is best to do with a fork. Or if you're a real wizard, you could also just wave your wand like so. We carefully add some ice water, making sure the mixture doesn't become too wet. We do want to keep it on the dry side. Now we form the dough into a little flat disc. But be sure not to work it too long with your warm hands. Then we cover the dough so it doesn't dry out. I highly recommend these reusable baking sheets and put it in the fridge for about an hour. And in the meantime, we have time to make the delicious filling for these pumpkin pasties. If your house elves have already done some prep work, or if you have canned pumpkin puree available to you, you can skip the next step. But if you like to make everything from scratch, let's get our hands orange. We want to start by cutting a pumpkin and removing the seeds. By the way, you can roast those as they make a delicious and healthy snack. Or you can leave them outside as a little gift for the birds and nuggles, or feed it to your owl. I always recommend to use Hokkaido pumpkins, as you don't have to peel them and I am lazy by nature. But any other variation is also fine. Peel and chop it into smaller pieces and then we have to cook it or roast it in the oven. I decided to cook mine. As I forgot my cauldron down in the dungeons after potion class, I just used this big old pot with water. Once the pumpkin is soft, drain the water away and then puree it with a puree staff or with a potato masher. That works just fine as well. And just like that, we have a healthy, homemade pumpkin puree. It is time now to reward some house points to a very special witch or wizard. In my last video, I promised that whoever counted the times I said kitchen witch would get a shout out. So here you go. 10 points to you. So let's start with a savory version of those Harry Potter pumpkin pasties. We will need to cut an onion, but thankfully I am a witch, so that is done just like that. Then we want to fry said onion in some oil until glassy, to give it a sweeter taste. Furthermore, we are going to add some nuts. I chose walnuts as we have them growing in abundance where I live, but you could also add roasted pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, pecans or chopped almonds. Now we add in the pumpkin puree and roast it lightly on low heat. Of course, we will also sprinkle some flavor magic into it with a couple of selected spices and some salt and pepper. And last but not least, we add some cheese. I chose a salty feta cheese, but I imagine it would also taste great with some soft goat cheese. Spices that go great in this are curry, smoked paprika, curcuma, mint, nutmeg, cinnamon and coriander. And to make this sweet filling, we just need to mix some sugar or maple syrup with a bunch of spices to give it that cozy autumn taste experience. I chose cinnamon, nutmeg and cloves. The warm smell of this combination will convince you that you just apparated straight into Mrs. Weasley's comfy kitchen at the Borough. Now we add in the pumpkin puree and combine it all well. And just like that, our fillings are done. That was almost as quick as with house elf magic. Now the dough should have cooled down enough to be worked with relatively easy and to deliver the perfect flaky crust. First we need to flour dust our surface and rolling pin. As always, if you don't have a rolling pin, you can just take any glass bottle with the labels removed. Just make sure to wash any remaining veritaserum out before using it. Then we free the dough from its cover and roll it out, about 3 mm thick. In order to get perfect circles, you can use cookie cutters, or if you don't have that, any glass or cup or bowl with a bigger opening will do the trick. The size of each circle should approximately be the size of your stretched out hand. We place the filling on the dough. Anything between 1 to 3 teaspoons should fit into it. And then we fold the dough shut. If you want, you can brush some water on the side so the dough sticks better together. Then we close the pasty by lightly pressing the edge down with a fork. We want to make some incisions at the top for the hot steam to escape so the pasties keep their pretty shape. Then we arrange them on a covered baking tray, and in order for them to brown nicely, we can apply some egg wash. For that you just beat an egg and brush it on. Now, if you want to make this vegan, just lightly brush them with coconut oil. This will have a very similar effect when baking. We want to pop them in the oven and let the pasties bake until they look deliciously golden and smell like you would imagine the kitchen of Hogwarts at Halloween's Eve would. And here they are, Harry Potter pumpkin pasties. A perfect, comforting fall treat or a great addition to any Halloween party buffet. It goes without saying that these flaky and flavorful pumpkin pasties go fantastic with a warm butterbeer, just as it is served in the 3 broomsticks. I might be sharing 2 of my favorite butterbeer variations, the kids and grown-up version, over on my Patreon for the 2nd tier. I hope you will enjoy this comforting autumnal snack, and next week we will get into the topic of real witchcraft again, talking about how you can manifest your dream life using the law of attraction. I wish you a magical day. See you soon!